Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. As always, I'm Ari here with Korea. Today's a special day. Today's Korea's 25th birthday, so obviously we'll look to find some winners for you guys today. We're starting off with the Nerfy stream, or Nerfy sweat, I should say, in this Rays Yankees game. That should be minutes away from first pitch. We'll just do, I guess, a quick recap real quick from Friday. Tough day for you, Korea. What were your takeaways from your two plays?
Yeah, obviously, first, I appreciate all the people who have wished me a wonderful happy birthday. So I appreciate that. But unfortunate recap of how we ended Friday. Did not want to end that way. First, the Reds, they didn't show up. It was all Nationals that day. I mean, it was started off with a Jonathan India RBI single, but I don't know how Patrick Corbin locked in, but he locked in some way somehow. Even uh, I couldn't believe it. I think it was a picture on Twitter of him with the whole Trump thing, and people are saying, "Oh, he's definitely going to be dialed in today." And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever." But I mean, Frankie Montes got shelled early. It was all Nationals. Montez allowed 7 runs through 4 and 2/3. So it's hard to bet on the team to bet on the money line when they're already down so much because the pitcher doesn't do any favors. On the other side, obviously, the bats for the Reds didn't show up. Obviously, they scored 5, but obviously all of those runs, pretty much came in. I want to say the top of the 9th inning. So it was, well, I'd say a considerable amount of those runs. So it wasn't even, a good look for there. And then the Baltimore Orioles Rangers first 3 under 1.5. I guess I got whatever bad curse juju you have with these bets because this was over in the first inning. Adley Rutschman decided to have a little home run derby himself at Globe Life Stadium and went 384 feet 2-run bomb off of Eovaldi in the first inning. I mean, a few pitches in, sometimes a bet is sometimes a bet is just a bad read. Sometimes it's just whatever can go wrong will go wrong. And right now, I feel like that's whatever's happening with the Rangers. I mean, the Orioles came in. Everyone was down on this Orioles team. We were talking about how they were struggling, and they showed us as to why we should not be doubting this Orioles team. So the Orioles, obviously, they had a very impressive weekend. Obviously, a good start with a big win. 2 big wins, obviously, against the Rangers in the first 2 games of the series. But obviously, the first 3 under 1.5 was never the look there. So an unfortunate 0-2 day to wrap up my week last week with just some tough reads. But like I said, obviously today's my birthday. So we're going to start off with a positive week. And we're going to obviously, finish out the month of July on a strong note as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline. But Ari, I know the Reds didn't win the full game. How else did you do on Friday?
Yeah, tough loss for the Reds, but 2 other winners. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've been in your shoes with the first 3, and it's obviously tough. But I have had some more fortunate luck as of late with those plays. As I said, I talked about it was Bassett and Flaherty. Yeah, Bassett and Flaherty. And yeah, it was 0-0. Yeah, it was 0-0 to 3. There was a couple of base runners, but not too much. They mostly they did do their job. And then the A's absolutely demolished the Angels on Friday. I think it was 13-3. So yeah, like I said, I like them against lefties. I believe it was Canning. Yeah, it was Canning who started that game, and him in the bullpen. Yeah, they scored 13 runs. So 2 in one day. Obviously, we'll take that.
I mean, yeah, like you said, Reds, just never the Reds. Obviously, Montes got shelled early. You mentioned the Tigers, Jays. That was a great look. We always love it, when we take a first 3 under or any kind of under and it's 0-0. And that was pretty much the case. You mentioned both guys did their job there, and that was pretty much what you were backing on. So that was great to see. And obviously the A's money line, that was pretty sweat free. You mentioned, when you take a team to win, and they score 13 runs, it's hard for the other team to, score 14 sometimes. So obviously that was a great winner. You mentioned Griff Canning, even whoever was on the mound, it was pretty much either Griff Canning or the Angels bullpen. And like you said, we were liking both matchups, in either situation there. So obviously that's a great way to wrap up your week. 2 in 1 day for you. Unfortunately, 0-2 day for me, but obviously we're gonna scratch that week off. Hopefully, come into this new week stronger than ever. Obviously, as already mentioned, we are currently taking this Nerfy here in the Bronx between the Rays and the Yankees here on the mound. For the Rays, it's Zach Littell, and for Goes good old Yankees. It's Carlos Rodon, and we know how Carlos Rodon and Nerfies go, so we are really crossing our fingers here. But obviously, I told Ari last week I just wanted to take this Nerfie no matter what, just because obviously splitting out for the 25th birthday. So that's what we're going to be having on in the background here. But of course, we're not going to leave you out without some picks for today. So we do have some picks for you, and I got 3 of them. I'm going to be talking about them as this Nerfie goes along here, and we are about just about a few seconds away from the first pitch in the Bronx. But I'm going to go talk about these 3 games here. First, we're taking the first 5 in Minnesota. We're taking the Phillies first 5 money line here, -120. I think this is a great price for a mismatched game. You look at the pitching matchup, and it's Ranger Suarez and Bailey Ober. And look, Ranger Suarez has been quietly one of the better pitchers in the National League. The Twins are a bottom 5 team against the lefties. You look at the other side, and I mean, the Twins are missing, I think, 2 big hitters. Obviously, they're missing Correa, but I forgot. I think it's Miranda or someone else. I know they're missing some big hitters today. So look at that. Oh, Rodon is dialed. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's what I like to see from Carlos Rodon. So that's a great way to start there. But Phillies first 5, I'm on that money line here, -120. Like I said, Ranger Suarez, I feel like you're getting him in the better matchup here. The Twins can't hit lefties. They're a bottom 5 team in baseball, in terms of WRC, all the statistics. They don't hit lefties well, especially at home. And, Ranger Suarez, as I mentioned, he's quietly been one of the better pitchers, in the National League for this Phillies team. And I think, with the healthier bats coming in for the Phillies, I think this Phillies team is really starting to find their stride. Obviously they have Bailey Ober. So, even though it's not a lefty matchup, so unfortunately Trey Turner is not going to go off today. They still have, Bryce Harper. They still have their big contributors. Nick Castellanos is hitting the ball well as of right now. So, pray for your loved ones out there. But, I do think, jokes aside, I think the Phillies get out to a lead here, obviously backing, Ranger Suarez on the mound. And on the other side, it's Bailey Ober, like I said. And, he's been an inconsistent pitcher. He's looked good at times. He's looked, not the greatest at times. But, I don't know how he does in this spot against the Phillies lineup, who obviously, one of the better lineups in baseball, honestly, the best team in baseball, just in terms of how they play. Phillies money line is always one of the most bet things in baseball just because of how much they win. But I'm just taking the first 5. We're getting it at a good price at -120. I know the full game is a little bit almost as a pick 'em, but I wanted to just target the first 5, targeting the Phillies to get out to a lead here and also backing Ranger Suarez through 5 innings. So that's what I'm taking here. Phillies first 5 money line at -120. Just back in Ranger Suarez to, do his job through 5 innings, and the Phillies get out to a little bit of a lead. Not asking for much, but obviously just maybe 1 or 2 against Bailey Ober, because I think Ranger Suarez has a great day against this Twins team today. So that's my first play in the Phillies game. And then we're going to the Cardinals and Pirates, going up to Pittsburgh, and we're taking that full game over 8.5 at -105 here. Look at the pitching matchup, people. It's Andre Payante and Mitch Keller. Those are my 2 favorite pitchers on each team to fade. Payante, just not good. Not good at all. He has, I think, a 4 ERA, just, I think, near the back of the barrel of this pitching staff. I saw the other day, the Cardinals, they are in talks. Oh, look at that. A routine fly. There we go. Thank you, Mr. Soto, for finding that one. 2 outs. There we go. 2 outs, 4 more to go. But obviously, I was talking about it. The Cardinals, they are in the market for some pitching. So obviously I saw they were interested in maybe Eovaldi or Eflin. So that means that, some of these back end guys like Payante are probably going to be seeing some of their last starts here. And I don't think it's going to go well, even though he has some decent splits, against the Pirates. These 2 teams know each other very well, obviously. The fact that they're one in a division, obviously, we look at Payante, he's a 4.21 ERA. In his last start, he got absolutely shelled, by this by the Kansas City Royals, who obviously hit righties well. And the Pirates, obviously, 1, hit better at home, and 2, they hit righties well at home. And I think this is a great spot just to take the over here. I'm not really backing on either side. I don't like a side today. I don't really have to depend on either bullpen as well. I know the Cardinals bullpen has looked good at times, but also inconsistent at times. The Pirates as well. And then on the other side for the Pirates, like I said, it's Mitch Keller on the mound, and he's been brutalized by this Cardinals team before. You look at the splits for most of the guys. I mean, Brendan Donovan, he has a homer against him. Arenado has a homer against him. Gorman has a homer against him. Mason Wynn is 4 for 9 against him. Alec Burleson has a homer against him. Goldie has 7 hits against him with a homer as well. And on the other side, Brian Reynolds against Payante, 2 hits, 2 homers. I feel like just, the pitching matchup is just screaming over. We're getting at an 8.5. Oh, look at that. Three outs in the top of the half for Carlos Rodon. Don't have to sweat anymore. Thank you. But now we got to go to Zach Littell. I know that guy's a sweat.
That's the tough part with Soto and Judge, obviously.
Yeah, against Zach Littell. Oh boy. But yeah, going back to the Cardinals Pirates, I'm just backing this over here. I like both teams to score today. Obviously, even though it's the first game of the series for both teams, obviously the fact that both teams know each other very well. The Pirates are coming off that series where they looked. I was surprised they took 2 out of 3 against the Philadelphia Phillies at home. So maybe their offense starting to get things going again. So that's why I'm kind of more just backing the runs here. On the other side, the Cardinals, they took 2 out of 3 in Atlanta. Sorry, I couldn't think of the name. In Atlanta. So, both of these teams coming off big series wins. I'm just backing both of these offenses. Kind of keep going here and keep churning here. So we're taking the Cardinals Pirates over 8.5 at -105. And then we're going to go finally end in Miami. And we're taking that Mets Marlins over 8.5. I got that at -112 on DraftKings. And this is the series ender, obviously. This is the final game of the series between both of these teams. Both of the this series started out 6-4, so a very high scoring game to start out that first game. And then the past 2 games on Saturday and Sunday, very low scoring games. Mets won 1-0 on Saturday, and then Miami won 2-4 yesterday. I'm just taking both offenses and just go out in the final game here. Obviously, the Mets, they play one more game before they go back up to New York to play the Yankees in the Subway Series, and then the Marlins, they await the Orioles to come to town tomorrow. So travel is not the biggest concern for either team. Obviously, the Mets just traveling back up to their hometown, New York, so that's not the biggest issue there. I'm more backing both offenses kind of show out here. The one thing, for the Miami Marlins is Yonny Chirinos, and he had a absolutely horrible start last time. But obviously, you can say that was in Cincinnati, and obviously we talked about Cincinnati being a very hitter-friendly ballpark. But and he's allowed a run in each of his last, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 appearances. He'll allow some runs. Obviously, I think he allows some runs today against the Mets, obviously, who have some decent splits against him. Pete Alonso has a homer against him. McNeil surprisingly 4 for 5 against him. I feel like some of those bats come up today. Obviously, I like to target these final games for interdivision matchups, just because I know some runs could potentially be scored depending on the pitching matchup. On the other side, for the Mets, it's David Peterson starting for the Mets today. Obviously, honestly, he's having a pretty great season, 4-0 on the season, a 3.09 ERA, so pretty good ERA in terms of what he's looking like. I feel like this is I'd say a good test for him. I don't know how this Mets bullpen does today. I'm more backing on the fact that even with David Peterson, I think the Marlins maybe get 2 or 3 across the board. And then hopefully I think more of these runs are coming from the Mets, just backing them to kind of shut in this final game, because obviously yesterday their offense hasn't really shown out at all. They've scored 3 runs in 2 games. And then same for the Marlins. They've scored 4 in 2. So I'm kind of just more backing each offense to kind of show out in the final game of the series, with hanging their heads held high, in a pretty much good pitching matchup here, for both teams, obviously, and I know once the Marlins bring in a lefty or, anyone, because that's a lefty, I know it's going to be trouble. So I'm just backing both teams to score here. Obviously, both teams have kind of been, a little bit have been struggling in terms of score the past couple of games. Obviously, like I mentioned, Mets have only scored 3 in the last 2 games, and then the Marlins scored 4 in the last 2 games. So both of these totals obviously combining at 7. So that's obviously a full game under there. So we're just backing both teams to score today, over 8.5. So those are my 3 picks today. The Phillies first 5 money line, the Cardinals Pirates over 8.5, and then the Mets Marlins over 8.5. Those are my 3 plays today. For my birthday, Ari, what have you cooked up today?
Here, let's just sweat the rest of this inning, and then I'll get to mine, since we're almost, hopefully.
I mean, yeah, hopefully it's 0-2, Ryan. It's 0-2 to Soto. This is danger territory, obviously, for Littell here. He did get that first out with Ben Rice striking out, but this is the real test. Obviously, after you get that first out, you got to deal with Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. 0-2 count to Soto now. Very, very light crowd in New York, obviously, afternoon game on a Monday, and he strikes him out. Beautiful high heater outside, strike 3.
Nothing
hey,
over
shout out
the
to you,
plate.
Justin. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for the birthday gift. for the birthday wishes. I
Nothing over
appreciate
the
you.
plate to judge. Nothing. Don't leave a pitch. Don't leave a pitch over the plate to judge, please.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Hopefully he doesn't, but we just need one more out here. Please, one more out here. Come on. That was over the plate. That was over the plate. That scared me. But it's big swing and miss for Aaron Judge here. That was 95 miles an hour right over the center of the plate. You look at those numbers, Jesus Christ. 309, 35 homers, 89 ribbies. That is a total of the Seattle Mariners as a whole right now, people. Aaron Judge is hitting better than the whole Seattle Mariners offense. Look at this. The Yankees threw 101 games. Aaron Judge is doing stuff that hasn't been done since the year 2007. That is incredible. This is incredible. Yeah. Absolutely insane. But 0-2 count to him, obviously, great. But we know how 0-2 counts are to Aaron Judge. It takes one plate over the center of the plate. Come on, Littell. You've been doing great all inning. Have had no big mistakes here. Just need one more out. You're not getting that one, buddy. No, you're not getting that one, buddy. That was in the other batter's box. Nice try. Littell's surprisingly having a pretty good split against this Yankees team, only allowing a 190 batting average against the Yankees. I think pretty good, decent splits so far, but as you know, Ari, it only takes one swing of the bat to really ruin things. Don't really want him to get on base either, because now obviously means potential to run on first base. 2-2 count, and he struck him out. There we go. Right over the middle of the plate, hanging curveball. 1, 2, 3. That was dangerous.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge in the third inning hits that to left field. Aaron Judge in the first inning strikes out. That's what we like to see. The Nerfy cashes, simple 6. Once again, happy birthday to myself. We just wanted to do that just for the reason that today is my birthday. So that was a great birthday present for me. A simple 6 in the Bronx. But now, Ari, I'll let you get into your final picks for today before we wrap things up here. What have you taken on this Monday?
Yeah, I'm just taking it light today. I just have one play. Going to the White Sox Rangers, first 5 under 4.5. It's Eric Fetty against Michael Lorenzen. Fetty's been one of the lone bright spots for the White Sox this season, alongside Crochet, obviously, and Robert, when he's been healthy. And then Lorenzen for the Rangers, coming off poor start against the Angels, where he gave 5 runs. Mostly, obviously Lorenzen's the worst pitcher of the two, but he's facing the worst lineup of the two, so that kind of like when that lines up, I'm taking the first 5 under. Fetty's been, he's been a little bit worse on the road than at home, but I'm not like worried enough about the current state of the Rangers lineup to be, too worried going up against Fetty. He still has an ERA under 3 on the season. Again, a little bit worse on the road, but still good with where he's at and where the Rangers are at. I think he's coming off a shutout, I believe. And then Lorenzen, he got crushed by the Angels on the road, but he threw a shutout against the Rays in his last home start. He's back home. So just one play for me. White Sox Rangers on their first 5 on their 4.5.
I like that play for, just fading both of these offenses right now. The Rangers can't find. I was literally just talking about how the Rangers bats are really, really struggling right now. The Orioles came in and just pretty much put them to work, obviously, even though they got one win. It was only a 3-2 win yesterday for the Rangers. And you mentioned Lorenzen at home, obviously a lot better. And obviously he's facing the White Sox, who, have just struggled all season against any kind of pitching. So I do like that first 5 under, just targeting that. And then you mentioned the other side, Eric Fetty, one of the better pitchers alongside Crochet, who is probably going to be traded at the deadline or in the coming days. One of the 2 better pitchers or bright spots for this White Sox team, whichever way you want to look at it. I like that first 5 under 4.5 for you. That's Ari's one and only play today, just the White Sox and Rangers first 5 under 4.5. And then going back to my 3 plays, Phillies first 5 money line, the Cardinals Pirates over 8.5, and then the Mets Marlins over 8.5. You can find all of these plays. And of course, this video on our Twitter below, AKP Sports Talk, will have our full card and video posted momentarily. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And of course, thank you guys so much extra for the birthday wishes. I really do appreciate it. Obviously, we just wanted to have a little bit of a nerfy stream, but we will be tuning into some more Nerfy streams. Obviously, baseball is now officially back, so we're going to be targeting some of these early games again and maybe doing some more Nerfy streams, as we continue throughout the second half of the regular season. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's Ari. I'm Korea. We will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.